Hi and welcome to my channel. So today I'm bringing you a Project Life spread using a Citrus Twist kit. Surprise, surprise. This one is from September. So I tend to find that pretty much all of my 2017 album is using Citrus Twist kits. I've not found that I've got bored. I do flip between the kits now, whereas I was primarily using the kit the month that I got it, whereas now I tend to go according to embellishments or photos or just my mood. So for this one I'm using September, as I say. The only pre-planning I've really done is I have printed out some journaling on my computer. I've used the American typewriter font for that. And just because I thought for a filler card, for a bit different, while I've got quite a few photos and a few spreads from this weekend in London, it would be nice to actually get a bit of a chunk of journaling on one of them. So that's what I decided to use my filler card for this time. I've got a little bit of yellow. That's mainly because I wanted to use that weekend. To use those big words up, I found they look nice. But when I was planning with my photos, just to sort of go off on a mini tangent that's relevant, you may find that the photos quite often can tell you where on a page you've got to put them. So the two photos on the right, I've got my two youngest kiddies looking, or maybe not looking when you see the back of my son's head, but they're looking into the page. And one of the photos on the left has got my husband sat on the bus, and to be looking into the page, he needs to be on the left. So that sort of decided where my photos were going to go. And due to this, even though I wanted to spread the yellow out, I did actually move that weekend banner onto the bottom photo. Even though there was more empty space on the one on the top right, I did prefer the fact that the yellow was even more spread out. So I did use the unplug in black on that top right hand photo, and you can see it more in real life and you'll be able to see it on the close-ups, but I actually quite like the fact that it's not in your face. It's there, but it's not too bright, should we say. So I'm happy with the way they are, so I'm going to get those stuck down, and I did use a puffy sticker that says Let's Weekend. Plus the unplug works really well on my son because he is quite often, as we say, plugged in. And then I'm going to put the weekend at the bottom with a day well spent, because this was one day over the weekend. And I've got on my journaling, so I've got for the long story card, I've got while in London for the marathon, we had a day of sightseeing to enjoy first. What better way to do it than book tickets on a tour bus? We stopped off to see sights including the Apple Markets, as well as Buckingham Palace, Big Ben, the London Eye and many more. Lewis wasn't feeling too well, but he held up like a trooper for the walking and the travel, and we got to ride on the tube, a London bus and a black cab, as well as take many pictures as possible. So that's quite my long journaling. Excuse the camera there, it decided to try and focus on me cutting off the edges of that weekend. And then I also added a little bit down in the bottom right hand corner, and that is about the Apple Markets. It just says it's amazing what you can find on YouTube. It's through watching videos that Kate suggested we go to Apple Market. Good suggestion. So she'd seen it on YouTube and wanted to go and have a look. So we Googled, we weren't that far, so off we went and had a nice time walking around there. So I'm sure we could have many days in London and never be bored. So anyway, while I've done that, I've pretty much stuck on quite a lot of my embellishments, just going through the die cut pack. And I'm now going to add these little arrows next to the good suggestion as part of my stamping. Now I did wonder whether to add more or indeed where to add more, but I decided to have a look, and I spotted on the Felicity Jane stamps, I decided to use that one called Life. And I stamped that in white. So for that I used the white Memento ink. There are patches on a big stamp where I don't think it's as white as it could be, but from a distance it still looks white, and to me you know, definitely as a not very good stamper, should we say, which is why I'm forcing myself to use them. I think it looks quite nice. So this is the bit now where I mess about quite a bit, why I try and decide and add more stuff in. Ooh, I thought I was going to sneeze then, but I think it's gone. So I've added a puffy sticker up the top. While I've got one on the layout, I did want another. And I did also pull in a few more of these word strips. But I found, because I have one under weekend and I have one above long story, and then I've just put one above the unplug, it was starting to become very blocky, this layout. So while there was only elements of it, I did find that it was getting a bit too blocky. So what I did was I went through my tubs that hold all my little embellishments, hearts, stars, enamel dots, etc. And I found a little pink enamel dot that I've popped on the top of Life. And then when my camera died, I decided to leave it off while I pulled out some others. And what I've pulled out is some little puffy stickers from Freckle Fawn. I've also got some stars, and they're from Studio Calico. And I also think those plus symbols are from Studio Calico as well. I like to pick up a few of their past kits every now and then, and I get some different embellishments in there. So I use quite a few of the plus symbols and also a few of the stars, just to echo that die cut star that I had on the bottom corner near Weekend. So I'm going to pop on all my last minute bits now, just scattering them about so there's one or two on each of the pockets. And then up by those flowers on the journaling card, I am also going to pop a couple of stars there. And as you can see, I went to tuck it under a flower and it shoved them all a bit to the left, but you know, it works, it works. They're all staying stuck down now. So that's my layout pretty much finished. I am going to pull out my sewing machine and I'm going to save you watching it, but what I do is I stitch under through the word heart on that Grateful Heart card on the bottom in a straight stitch, and then I did do a little bit of a zigzag stitch by my journaling on this card that I'm going round now. So I'm going to go round it all in a black border, and then I will show you a quick close-up of each if my camera will focus, but there are some more photos coming soon. Oh, and I forgot, I did just decide to add a little bit of handwritten journaling on this card at the bottom about where we stayed. So I just popped a label on there and just wrote that on in my black pen. But that's pretty much the layout complete. So now's the time I get to say thank you so much for watching. I do really appreciate every single one of you that does. Please leave me any comments if you've got any questions, or even just comments, and I will get back to you. But thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you all again soon.